Okay, so now I've got some stuff here. I'm gonna go through and clean up all of the different little dingleberries and stuff that's hanging off the edge. Get this thing sanded pretty flat and get it prepped and ready to go for the next step, which is adding the baffles on. Okay, so now that I got that sanded off right there, I've mixed me up a pretty hot batch. This stuff's gonna harden relatively quickly compared to the normal stuff. I'm gonna go in and fill in all those little holes that I done sanded out and make it really, really strong. So when it gets to looking like jelly, it ain't no good. It's time to throw it away. But I got it all coated, and now we're gonna put the baffles on. Okay, so I went through here and reflowed all that stuff and basically got it all nice and pretty, filled in any of the cracks and any of the stuff that I sanded off. Now it's just pretty well glassed. This is what you want. Nice, smooth glass, no frays, nothing. I still have a little bit more to do on this side with the fiberglass, so we're gonna start on this side first. So on this side, we're gonna go ahead and put the baffle on. We're gonna do a test fit right here, really quick. You see that the baffle actually fits really nicely on there. I've already sort of got this all squared away. But what I'm gonna do now is flip this baffle over, and we're gonna start laying adhesive all the way down all these joints. That way we can put the baffle and glue it on there, screw it into place, and it can be done. Alright, so you can see here we got the baffles glued in on both sides. You see that port developed right there, nice and neat. We'll wait on all this stuff to dry so we can start glassing the front right here, all the way down into the port. We're going to glass this triangle right here, and then we're going to glass the entire outside of the box, including the back of the box. We might start out with the back and the bottom, and then do the top and the sides. She's looking pretty good. I ordered some insert nuts to go in here, some M6 insert nuts. They're 18 millimeters long, so they're pretty deep. They'll go about halfway through. So this ought to be pretty strong in general. Basically, she is coming together. So that's your clamshell design right there. Pretty good looking. This nice 45-degree angle here on each side. That 90-degree angle makes it very easy to actually load the woofer and get to actually mounting this one here, so you're not being interfered by that one there. So when we actually put the woofer here on top and we invert the bottom one, we should still have just enough space to get here behind it and actually mount it without being interfered by this woofer too much. So overall, it's working out pretty good. As soon as we get it all together, sanded down in glass, before we cover it, we're going to test it, and I'll do a video on that. I'm only going to put about 5,000 watts to it during testing, but it should give us a pretty good idea of where everything's sitting at, including we'll test tuning and everything like that. So we got the baffle all sanded smooth. Look at that angle right there. Perfect. Throwing some glass on here right now. Gonna flip that guy over. Glass that whole face of that baffle right there. Then we're gonna move on to this one right here. So we got some glass laid on there. We're using the rollers. Guys from the group told us get some rollers. They're badass. Sure enough, you can see how smooth that's laying on there. We got the smooth side up right here. We got the 4 baffles cut. As soon as it started getting a little bit hard, I went ahead and cut them out. That way I can sort of finish it. If I wait till I'm done, I'm gonna have to have a Dremel to get that out. So went ahead and cut it right when it's about 80% hard. It's pretty hard, but it's still a tiny bit tacky. We cut them out at just the right time. All the way down the bottom. That's crazy. Now we gotta do that again right here. Whoop. Well, that's both sides glassed up. Pretty crazy. We got the baffles cut out right here. We got the top and the bottom done. Tomorrow we're gonna start doing a little bit more. Sand these, clean it up, come back to those any little pockets. The rollers worked out amazing. You see just how uniform all that is right there. Worked out pretty cool. We'll do the sides, the back, load up some woofers, give her a test. What do you think it's gonna sound like?
Awesome.
All right, check it out. This is the next day. This stuff is hard as a rock. That fiberglass set in there very, very nicely. You can see the baffles. It's strapped all the way down inside the port right there. All across the front, both sides, and down the face right here. Those rollers worked really, really good to get all the bubbles out right here. Make it nice and flat. On the inside, it was easy to go back and sand it, fill it in. But here's gonna be a little bit more noticeable with whatever we put on there. So it's very important that we get this stuff right. All these hole cutouts right here, these are great. Very, very, very happy with the way this turned out so far. I know a lot of you guys are looking at this thinking, wow, dude, that looks like total ass, right? And I don't disagree. But what you got to realize is that you have to build this up very thick and strong before you clean it and sand it. You see the way the port was, you know, that stuff was really nice. When I go back there and I sand all this stuff down and make it nice and flat and pretty, filling in any of the voids that I've sanded out down past the material, you know, that's where it's going to be very, very strong. It's also going to look pretty good. So anyways, this is where we're at now. The little clamshell is coming together very nicely. There we go. We got 8 layers of fiberglass all the way down through the front into the port there. Now we're going to do the sides, the back, top, bottom, whatever's left. You see here when I've done this one, it's got a little bit left. I got to trim that off, finish that up. But basically this is what you want right here. This is nice and strong, sturdy. I got 2 layers right there plus the fiberglass. It's going to be very, very thick, very, very sturdy. And I want the air to flow around this very nicely. So I've got to basically get this back pretty flat. I may end up coming back with another coat of resin right here to sort of glass this out even farther, or I may not. You know, it just depends. You see there the mounting holes down on the bottom, and there's mounting holes down here on the inside. Those got to be drilled back out whenever we put the fiberglass on there. And basically everything has to be cleaned up before we put the woofers in, because they'll suck up any little piece and they'll spit it out. Alright guys, another update here. We have the back of this box glassed in. It's sort of drying right now. It's kind of jelly. It's not super hard. This whole front section here, we run out of hardener, so I've got to come back and re-glass that. But you can see the back side here is all glassed in nice and smooth. You can see the grain through it. That's really good. That's what you want. I've got enough right here where I can do that side, but I'm gonna do it later. Basically broke over all these edges right here all the way around. I got this little brace right here. It's basically a spacer. This goes between the back of the truck and the box. It's going to space it off so it's not so close to my window. It also has the mounting holes in it that's going to be required, so you get a bolt through there. Basically it's going to clamp from the inside of the box through this board and into the steel on the back of the truck in 4 places, as well as 7 bolts on the bottom here. Hopefully that should be enough to keep this bitch in place.